Hello anh em, đây là ông Hoffman, chủ founder của booking.com, đang nói chuyện trực tuyến.
We're ready.
Yes, yes. I can't hear you guys at all. Can you hear me now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Can you unmute so I can hear you though?
네, 현장에 네.
Đây là Hoffman đang nói chuyện với toàn thể cộng đồng STAYLP.
Yeah, I still can't hear you guys. No, I cannot hear you at all. Now I can. Now I can. Okay.
Okay, you can start.
Very good.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, brother. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. So really honored, because Jeff is not only our chairman, but to be really grateful to you, Jeff. I'm doing my take a bow, from me, yeah. Because Jeff has been very supportive, being a startup like STAYLP. Brother, I've never imagined you could have joined us and guide us. A really big thank you to you. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Sure. Wish I was there with you in person, but it's 5 in the morning here, and I'm glad to be here anyway.
So maybe I'll do a very quick intro on Jeff. Yeah. So Jeff actually helped Microsoft to build Expedia first, right? For the tech and all this. And then of course, he went on to found Priceline, which actually bought Agoda in Asia, and also Booking.com, and then a very small company in Netherlands. And now, he can be considered having founded the new Booking.com and brought Booking.com where it is right now. I think today is 160 billion gorilla. So Jeff, that's amazing. I'll let you take the rest. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thanks.
Sure. So, besides obviously travel being one of the world's biggest industries, I've always been looking for the intersections between the way travel is changing and technology, right? Our job has always been to identify when technology improves our ability to travel, which obviously is why I'm here with STAYLP and why I was excited to be part of this team and chairman of this company, because this is the next wave. This is the next generation of travel and the way we're all going to travel. For me personally, we saw this long ago. Actually, so you guys will know, my first venture into the intersection of travel and technology wasn't even online booking. It was even before that. Back in those days, you had to physically go get a ticket, and we had to go get a boarding pass, and you had to go speak to a human being, show them your ID, and have them hand you a boarding card so you could get on a plane. And even back then, I was looking at the technology and at travel, and at all the lines in the airport, people were standing in long lines. actually stood in the line back then for an hour and a half, and I missed my flight. And I thought, isn't there a way with technology to improve the way we travel, right? So even back then, actually went home that day, took out a pencil, and started drawing a kiosk. So today, as you guys know, in airports all over the world, there are self-check-in kiosks. Instead of talking to the person, you walk up and you check in and you get your own boarding card. That was actually my first invention. When I created these kiosks, airports all over the world ordered them. So we had a very successful startup, and we realized that as long as we kept evaluating new technologies when they came out, we could continue to improve the way that people travel. And then the next step, by the way, was my team also created the technology. Some of you are too young to remember, but you used to actually have an airline ticket, not a boarding card. And the ticket was currency. If you lose the ticket, it was worth money. And the airlines had to have the ticket to collect the money. So tickets were a bad idea, to carry currency around in your pocket. So our team said, there has to be a way to fix that with technology. So our team actually developed the technology and helped for something called the ATB, which was automated boarding, and got rid of tickets and created the ecosystem that you just need a boarding pass, you don't need your ticket anymore. So fast forward a little bit, now the internet becomes a big thing. And we were looking again and saying, for this next wave of technology, how do we make travel even better? And so you can see where I'm leading up to in a few minutes with Stay Next, but at that point, we had a private company, a private tech company, and the idea that you could pass the power of making travel decisions from the supplier to the consumer, power to the people, right? That was the internet's point. And we looked at it, and I'll tell you guys a quick story. I picked up the phone and I called an airline. Sorry, I called a travel agent back then. And I told the travel agent, I need to fly from Chicago to New York at 4 o'clock. And she said, there's a 2 o'clock flight for $400. And there's a 6 o'clock flight. I wanted to go at 5. There's a 6 o'clock flight for $400. And I said, there's no 5 o'clock flight? Remember, the travel agent's reading the screen, not the consumer. And she said no. And I said, sorry, but I always fly the 5 o'clock flight and it's only $250. And she said again, there's a 4 o'clock for $400 and a 6 o'clock for $400. And I said, I'm sure there's a 5 o'clock for $250. And she paused for a minute, and she said, okay, fine, there is. And I got upset. I said, why didn't you tell me that? You were not going to give me the best flight. And the answer is, because the travel industry